With your Epson interactive projector, you can use your pens for a lot more than just writing or highlighting. With these particular pens, as long as our batteries are charged, and again push the button to make sure that you have a blue light. It's important to note that when you're using the PC interactivity mode, that your batteries need to be well charged. So if they are just a little bit charged, they would still write on the board, but they're not going to work with your computer. So a couple things to troubleshoot. Make sure that your cable is plugged in, your battery is fully charged, and you are ready to go. So now that I have my pen and my board, down here in the bottom left, with my computer plugged in, I see something that says PC Interactivity. So make sure when I turn that off, it goes into annotation mode, and I can use my tools to write all over my board. If I turn that to PC Interactivity on, you can see that the annotations will still stay, but now I can actually control my computer. My pen has turned from a circle to a mouse. So now when I come down, I can click on anything down here and sign in, and you can see that my pen will actually control my board. This is really great if I want to access any of my programs, and I don't have to keep running back to my computer. I can give my full focus to my class and what I'm doing up here. Simply with this mode, use your pen just like a mouse, or if you had a touch screen, how you would interact with that. So I'm going to go ahead and use password instead and sign into PowerPoint here. So down here at the bottom, you'll see that all of my writing tools have gone away, but as I move my pen around, it's highlighting the different choices that I can make. If I want to write on my board, now I go back here to PC Interactivity, I turn it off, and I'm back in annotation mode. So now, I don't know if you can see that or not, it's a dot and not my mouse selector. So I'm going to go ahead and erase all of my markings previously, and then use my toolbars down here to select what I want and write all over the piece. Again, if I want to control this, I turn PC Interactivity back on, making sure that I've already troubleshot everything that I need to. And from there, I have my mouse selector tool, and I can go ahead and choose what I wish to interact with. So here's one that's a percent. When you have a program like a smart notebook or something like that, I have a couple options. I can write on the board like I did here, turn it into annotation mode, and continue writing. That's perfectly acceptable, but nothing will stay on here. And if my students are accessing this through their Chromebooks, they can't see what I'm writing either. So my recommendation, when you have something like Smart Notebook, you want to be in PC Interactivity mode, and you want to utilize, I'm going to go ahead and clean up what I already wrote, PC Interactivity mode, and you want to utilize the tools up here. When I'm selecting these tools, I have a writing tool that then I can choose and use that to write on my Smart Notebook. Now, if my students are accessing this via long distance, maybe they've zoomed in from home because they're sick or we have a snow day, they can actually see what I'm writing all over my Smart Notebook. Similarly, I have a selector tool in here, and then I can move. So let's erase what we have. And I might say that percent is out of 100. And that's a simple definition I want to go with. Come back to my selector tool, excuse me, and I can move to the next page. You can see here that my pen, as I get to the edges, are just a little bit off from where my mouse selector tool will be. So you want to move a little bit slower, but there's a couple of things that can help you there. One of those would be to check the settings on your computer, and we can dig into that in another video. The other would be to take your remote control and push this user button, which is just here to the left of your selection wheel. If I hold that in, it pulls up an auto calibration. Now I have a choice. I can either touch yes, or I can use the selector on my remote. When I select yes, I want to step back from the screen and let it calibrate. So now that it's calibrating, you'll see a couple lights flashing, and it thinks about it, maybe brings the lights back if it needs to, And once it's done, it should give me a message that everything has been calibrated, or just return to the normal feature. So now, when I'm selecting, let's do our shape recognition pen. I draw a shape, and you can see now my pen can interact. So once again, PC interactivity on. I can feel free to select any of the programs that I may wish to use, just as I would interacting with my computer.